Let's get started with our first news. Dana White has once again made headlines, this time not for a blockbuster fight announcement, but for the staggering cost tied to the upcoming White House card. During an interview with Sports Business Journal, Dana revealed that the UFC will have to cover an eye-watering $700,000 just to repair the White House lawn after the event. That's right, $700,000 solely to replace the grass on the South Lawn. Dana explained that this was just one of the many expenses the organization is taking on to make the historic card possible. He said, "This is just one little piece I was talking about last night, to replace the grass because we're going to tear up the South Lawn. $700K just to replace the grass." It's clear that the UFC is sparing no cost to make this event truly unforgettable. The White House card has already been hyped as one of the most unique and ambitious shows in the company's history. Bringing MMA directly to the South Lawn, in front of one of the most iconic backdrops in the world, is something that no other promotion has ever even attempted. Of course, with such a groundbreaking move comes a massive financial responsibility, and Dana isn't shying away from acknowledging the investment. While many may raise eyebrows at the $700,000 figure, Dana views it as just part of the game. The UFC has always pushed boundaries, from staging events on Fight Island to historic stadium shows across the globe. And now this White House spectacle looks to top them all. The price tag for lawn repair might sound shocking, but when stacked against the magnitude of this card, it seems like a necessary cost of doing something that has never been done before. Fans around the world are buzzing, waiting to see how this card unfolds. With the company dropping nearly $1 million just to fix grass, the fights themselves are expected to deliver on a whole other level. Dana is betting big, and if history tells us anything, it's that the UFC always finds a way to make these massive gambles pay off. This White House card is shaping up to be nothing short of legendary. Move on to another news. Bisping believes Justin Gaethje could actually be next for Ilya, despite most of the MMA community leaning towards a massive showdown between Ilya and Paddy. While Ilya versus Paddy seems like the obvious blockbuster, Bisping thinks the UFC might go in a different direction, and his reasoning is tied to Gaethje's own words. Justin has openly said that if he doesn't get the next title shot, retirement could be on the table. That statement alone has stirred plenty of debate. From Bisping's perspective, the UFC may feel the need to reward a fighter like Gaethje, who has spent years delivering all-time classic fights. He's known as the human highlight reel, a man who never puts on a boring performance, and Bisping argues that this kind of service to the sport deserves recognition with one last run at gold. However, Dana White wasn't exactly thrilled with Gaethje's comments about retirement. In fact, Dana said that if a fighter is already thinking about hanging it up, maybe they shouldn't be fighting at all. That's a pretty strong stance, and it throws some doubt on whether Gaethje's ultimatum will play in his favor or against him. Still, when you look at the options on the table, both Paddy and Gaethje make sense, just in different ways. Ilya versus Paddy feels like one of the biggest fights the UFC could possibly book right now. The star power is undeniable. The hype is through the roof, and stylistically, Paddy brings constant chaos, wild energy, and relentless pressure. Pair that with Ilya's precision, composure, and undefeated streak, and you've got fireworks. On the other hand, Gaethje is pure violence. He's one of the most aggressive, destructive, and entertaining fighters the lightweight division has ever seen. Every time he steps into the cage, it feels like a guaranteed Fight of the Year contender. He's already fought for the title twice, and usually a third chance is hard to come by. But considering his history and the excitement he brings, Bisping thinks this could be the time. Ilya has already vacated the featherweight belt, and now as the reigning lightweight champion, he must defend his title soon. If he doesn't, Dana will have no choice but to strip him. Right now, Ilya is undefeated. He's one of the most dominant forces in the sport, and many argue he's the pound-for-pound greatest fighter in the world today. Whether it's Paddy or Gaethje, the next fight for Ilya will be nothing short of explosive. Move on to another news. Ilya has sent a blunt warning to Paddy after the wave of speculation that Ilya's first lightweight title defense could be against his longtime rival. The chatter exploded following the announcement of Arman versus Hooker, with many fans immediately suggesting Ilya versus Paddy as the most logical follow-up. Ilya has dropped hints in the past that the UFC is considering a matchup with Paddy, and now he's poured fuel on the rumor by openly promising to take his head off and settle their long-running feud once and for all. The root of Ilya's anger goes back to comments Paddy made about Georgia and the conflict with Russia a few years ago. Those remarks offended Ilya deeply, and he has repeatedly called them disrespectful to him, to his country, and to his people. In interviews, Ilya said joking about such tragedies crosses a line, and he warned that if they ever meet in the streets, a casual encounter could escalate into a full-blown throwdown. That kind of personal grievance gives this potential fight a real emotional edge beyond the usual hype. Reports suggest the UFC is eyeing the matchup for early 2026, possibly slotting Ilya versus Paddy as a headliner and giving Ilya the honor of opening Paramount's first major event of the year. There's a wrinkle though. Ilya's brother, Alexander, also has a fight scheduled around the same time. The Topuria brothers traditionally avoid fighting on the same card so they can focus on one another's training camps, and that family dynamic could complicate scheduling. That logistical detail may push the fight back or prompt the promotion to reshuffle cards, but it doesn't diminish the intensity of the rivalry. Stylistically, the fight promises fireworks. Paddy's chaotic pressure and non-stop offense would clash with Ilya's composed power and technical precision, creating high-drama moments every round. The personal history between the two adds stakes that money or rankings can't buy, transforming an already intriguing matchup into a potentially must-see event. Media moments, heated face-offs, and social media feuds are already building. Ilya's warning reads like more than mere trash talk. It's a statement rooted in pride and grievance, and he's clearly determined to make a decisive statement when the time comes. For fight fans, this rivalry is shaping up to dominate conversations and deliver real action. Expect heavy promotion, tense face-offs, and social media firestorms as both camps ramp up for what could be a career-defining clash. Move on to another news. Rampage Jackson has come out swinging with strong words for his longtime rival Wanderlei Silva after Silva's chaotic showing in an exhibition boxing match last weekend. The fight made headlines for all the wrong reasons. Silva was disqualified after repeatedly throwing illegal headbutts, which immediately drew outrage from fans and fighters alike. Things didn't stop there. Following the disqualification, a wild brawl broke out inside the ring, and in the middle of the melee, Silva was knocked out cold by none other than his opponent's son. The shocking scene spread quickly online, with clips going viral in the MMA community. Rampage, who has one of the most infamous rivalries in the history of the sport with Silva, did not hold back when asked about the incident. He said flat out that Silva was acting like a bully in the fight. According to Rampage, "I don't care what anybody thinks. Wanderlei has always been a bully. The whole MMA world knows this. He was headbutting that guy, and that's not right. I don't like bullies, never have, never will." Rampage's comments echoed the frustration of many fans who felt the exhibition had been turned into a circus by Silva's actions. The rivalry between Rampage and Silva stretches back nearly 2 decades, spanning multiple promotions and brutal wars inside the cage. Their fights in Pride and the UFC are legendary, filled with violent knockouts, raw emotion, and some of the most iconic moments in MMA history. So when Silva once again found himself at the center of controversy, Rampage was quick to point out that this kind of behavior is nothing new in his eyes. The bizarre ending to Silva's boxing appearance left many questioning whether he should still be competing at all. For Rampage, the answer seemed clear. His rival's actions only reinforced a long-standing opinion. To him, Silva hasn't changed, and the bullying mentality that defined him in the past is still present today. While some fans may have sympathy for Silva being knocked out during the post-fight chaos, Rampage's stance is unapologetic. He insists there's no excuse for repeatedly breaking the rules, no excuse for headbutts, and no excuse for being a bully inside the ring. For Rampage, Silva's latest downfall only proves his point louder than ever. Move on to another news. UFC fans are buzzing after the announcement of the co-main event featuring Garry versus Belal Muhammad. The matchup immediately caught attention, and Belal wasted no time sharing his reaction. On social media, he wrote, "I asked for Conor at the White House, but this will do." His comment showcased his excitement and readiness to step into the octagon against a top contender like Garry, even if it wasn't his first choice opponent. The stakes of this fight are significant. With no clear timeline on when Shavkat Rakhmonov will return, the winner of Garry versus Belal could position themselves as a major player in the lightweight division. That means a shot at the winner of the upcoming JDM versus Makhachev fight could very well be on the horizon. For Belal, this bout represents more than just a win. It's a potential stepping stone toward a title opportunity and a chance to solidify his place among the division's elite. Belal has built a reputation for his well-rounded skill set, relentless pace, and ability to adapt to opponents inside the cage. Garry, on the other hand, is known for his precision striking and aggressive approach, making this clash a compelling stylistic matchup. Fans can expect a high-intensity battle where every exchange could shift the momentum, and the winner will likely emerge as a front-runner for a future championship fight. The anticipation surrounding this fight is heightened by the strategic implications for the division. With major names like Shavkat Rakhmonov temporarily out, the UFC is eager to see who will step up and stake their claim. Both Belal and Garry have shown the ability to deliver explosive performances, and this fight will be a definitive measure of who is ready to rise to the top. As fight week approaches, all eyes will be on the octagon when Belal Muhammad and Ian Garry meet. Every punch, every takedown, and every moment inside the cage could define the trajectory of their careers. For Belal, the opportunity to compete at this level is a chance to prove his worth and send a message to the lightweight division. He's a serious contender, and his sights are firmly set on title contention. Move on to another news. Merab is setting the tone ahead of UFC 320, making it very clear that his sights are locked on knocking out Sandhagen. The champion has been candid about his intentions, openly stating that his plan is to finish the fight on the feet. During Media Day, Merab explained his strategy, emphasizing that striking will play the central role in the matchup. Most of the time, the fight will be striking, he said. Even if Corey tries to take me down, of course I'll get back up. And if I take him down, he'll get up too. That's why I'm saying the majority of the fight will probably be striking. I've been sharpening my skills, I feel really good, and I want to knock him out. Of course, I'll adapt if the fight goes elsewhere, but my goal is to finish him standing. Sandhagen, on the other hand, has his own plans as he prepares to challenge for the bantamweight title. During his Media Day appearance, Sandhagen spoke about the excitement of being the challenger and how he looks forward to being the active champion in the future. I'm probably more excited to be on the other side, in the corner, having people chase me, he said. It feels like I've been in that position for a long time. The fact that Merab is even talking about me now is motivating. 3 fights in a year would be ideal, especially with one in October. I could fight mid-year and then finish the year strong. Defenses all the way to the end. That's the goal. Merab also acknowledged that Sandhagen is perhaps his toughest test to date. He praised Sandhagen's dangerous skill set, which includes flying knees, spinning kicks, submission threats, and exceptional cardio. He escapes takedowns, gets up quickly, and has tons of experience, Merab said. But I'm an even better version of myself this time. And it's a new opponent. One punch or one submission can change everything. So I recognize all the danger, but I've trained for this. It's going to be a good night for me. I believe that. With a win on Saturday, Merab will secure his 3rd bantamweight title defense, joining longtime teammate Aljamain Sterling in UFC history. That achievement would put him just 1 defense shy of the record for most consecutive title defenses in a single championship reign. This bout isn't just another fight. It's a chance for Merab to cement his legacy as one of the division's most dominant champions while pursuing a spectacular knockout finish against one of the toughest challengers in the sport. Move on to another news. Nate Diaz has reportedly turned down an opportunity to compete in BKFC, citing health concerns as the main reason. BKFC President David Feldman shared the details during an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, revealing that the promotion had indeed reached out to Diaz. However, according to Feldman, Diaz declined, explaining that he has too much scar tissue to safely participate at this time. "We've talked to Nate Diaz a few times," Feldman said. He literally said, "Look, I have too much scar tissue for this right now, but I think if it were Conor McGregor on the other side of that ring, he would take it." The statement highlights Diaz's concern for his own health, as well as the respect he has for a high-profile opponent like Conor. While the fighter is currently stepping back from bare-knuckle competition, Feldman emphasized that the interest in a matchup with McGregor would be very different. The implication is clear. Nate is cautious about the risks associated with BKFC, but he's still motivated by the potential challenge of facing one of MMA's biggest stars. BKFC has been building momentum with several high-profile fights in recent years, and the prospect of having Nate Diaz compete would have been a major draw. Diaz's reputation for toughness, durability, and relentless pressure makes him an ideal candidate for the promotion. But his comment about scar tissue underscores the physical toll his MMA career has taken over the years. The mention of McGregor adds another layer of intrigue, suggesting that while Nate is selective about his fights, he's still open to monumental matchups under the right circumstances. Fans around the world have reacted with excitement to the idea of a Diaz versus McGregor showdown in BKFC. The matchup would combine 2 of the most iconic figures in MMA, known for their charisma, striking skills, and willingness to take risks inside the ring. While it may not be happening immediately, Feldman's comments confirm that the dialogue between the fighters and the promotion has been ongoing, keeping the possibility alive for a future blockbuster event. For now, Nate Diaz remains focused on his health and recovery, stepping back from the bare-knuckle scene. However, the door isn't completely closed, and the prospect of a high-stakes fight against McGregor and BKFC remains a tantalizing scenario for fans. The promotion will continue exploring options, but Diaz's decision makes it clear that safety and longevity are priorities, even for a fighter known for his legendary durability and heart inside the cage.